going to school, podcaching, viewer's mail, and of course, geocaching. Welcome to Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine. So welcome to episode 7 of Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine. I'm Icenrye. Thanks for watching. Wow, can you believe it? Episode 7 already. Man, does time fly. First off, I want to thank everyone who's downloaded my show. You guys are great. I've been getting tons of email. As a matter of fact, in this episode, I introduced a viewer mail segment. So, what's happened since we last spoke? Well, the big news is that Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine has been picked up by the Rant TV Internet Television Network. What is Rant TV? Well, they basically stream video, and you watch with Winamp. And some of their shows include The Broken and System by Kevin Rose. Those of you who are into tech are very familiar with those shows. They also feature FTS, or From the Shadows, which also involves a group of people from Tech TV, including Yoshi. So if you ever watch the Screensavers, Yoshi the Mod Man, he's got his own internet television show now. They also feature a show on a gamer called Pure Onage, which is pure comedy, and it's an absolute hoot to watch. Most of the time, if you're not into gaming, you probably won't understand a word of dialogue, so you might have to go and get a dictionary and look up what he says. But it's a totally enjoyable series. Their signature program is Patrolling with Sean Kennedy, which I've mentioned before, and it's all shot in the Langley area, and it's a really good outdoor type show for learning survival gear and basically how to live out in the wilderness. And they've just started season 2 and they're sort of going off in a different direction, but worthwhile checking out if you're ever in the area. The other big news is that Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine is now listed with Podcast Alley. Now, Podcast Alley is a monthly ranking system where listeners or viewers go in and they place a vote. Now, the thing about Podcast Alley is once a month the votes are reset to 0, so you have to go and vote all over again. And if you could, please go and vote for Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine. Now, what does a vote do? Well, a vote increases your ranking system. So when you go to the page, there'll be a list of popular podcasts, or in my case, video podcasts. And of course, generally people see on the front page, they're more apt to click on your material. Now, I've had a few votes. I'm actually, as of this taping, I'm in the top 10 listing of video podcasts. But come on, guys, let's go out there, vote, and see how much higher we can get. And the thing to remember about Podcast Alley is that the votes are reset once a month. So please, the first or second day of every month, go back there and re-vote. I'll really appreciate it. The other big news is that I now have a Frapper map off of my website. For those of you who don't know, Frapper is the classic wall pin map. You know, you put the big wall, you put the map up on the wall, you put little pins in different places you've been. And as, again, of this taping, there's about 33 people there. But I know you're watching, and there's more of you out there. So just go to my website at www.icenrye.com. There's a little icon on the top right side of the menu bar. Just click on it, and it'll take you to my Frapper page, where you please add yourself to my Frapper map. So anyways, what's coming up in this episode? Well, we're going to be featuring a interesting new concept called podcaching. Now, what's podcaching? Well, imagine taking geocaching and combining it with podcasting. It's a really cool feature. It was started by a couple down in the San Diego area of Southern California, and I've done a really fun article on it, and I hope you're going to enjoy it. Also, this month in the geocaching site of the month, I featured Geocacher U, which I featured back in episode 2 when I did my article on paperless caching. Great website. He's changed it quite a bit since I last saw it, and it's a really excellent site. Also, I got more geocachings for you, and interesting thing is I shot this footage back in July, back in the summertime. So when you see me, I'm in a t-shirt and I'm sweating and there's leaves on the tree. No, it wasn't shot this week. Trust me, today is December 10th and we're getting into winter, and it's actually fairly warm. It's about 2 degrees Celsius right now, and all the snow that we received is starting to melt, but it's still a little on the cold side. And of course, viewers mail. As I mentioned too early, I've got a ton of viewers mail, and I figured, it's about time I started acknowledging these guys. So let's not waste any more time. Let's get on with the show. So one of the great things about the internet, email. Just think about it. You can sit down on your computer, type out a message, and send it to anybody, anywhere in the world, without having to lick a stamp. And I received quite a bit of email concerning the Geocaching Videozine, and I figured it's about time that I acknowledge these writers, and read some of their email on the show. So, here we go. The first note is from Alain, who's from Belgium. He says, "Hello there. Just a short note to tell you I really enjoyed the Videozine concerning geocaching. Well done." Well, then, thank you very much. And again, thank you for your kind comments. And keep watching. Next one. This is from a gentleman named Johnny Cash. This is, "Hi, Icenrye. Greetings from the Netherlands. I recently downloaded all 6 of your Geocaching Videozine episodes, and I must say we really enjoy watching them. We're looking forward to upcoming episodes in the near future." It goes on to write, "What I'd also like to see is a ready-to-use CD cover case I can download from your site and use with CDRs with your Geocaching Videozine on them. I'm thinking about burning your Geo Videozine to a couple of CDRs and leaving them in caches as a goodie." Well, that's an excellent idea, and as a matter of fact, I have followed up on his suggestion. If you go to my website, Icenrye.com, on the right side menu, you'll see a generic label that's there for your use. Feel free, download it, print it out, and it's just the right size to fit on a CD. Next we hear from Shock and Awe down in Mount Vernon. "Love your videozines, watch them all. You need to go on a weekly schedule." I wish. Oh, that's one of the best compliments I've heard already. I really wish I could put out these shows once a week. Well, I'll keep it in the back of my head. I'll see what I can do. Because it's a lot of work, but I truly enjoy it. Next we hear from PA1 Fox. He says, "Hi Sheldon. I viewed your geocaching videozines 1 to 4 and actually converted them to our European PAL system and put them on DVD. It is very convenient to give them to someone when they are getting interested in geocaching, and since most people in Holland don't have problems with the English language, it's okay. I'll actually give a copy to my mom and dad. Mom was born in the UK, and they've joined us on one of our cache tours and enjoyed it very much. I am just a starting geocacher. In April I bought an old GPS from eBay and have been walking around much since then. Currently I am in progress of hiding one, but getting permission is the biggest thing here in Holland. You need permission for every inch of land you would like to put on something. Well, that's it okay for now. Just to say, caches are hidden and found at this side of the globe as well." And that's from PA1 Fox. Oh, thank you very much. When I was down in the Lower Mainland, I met up with a gentleman named TJ Guy, and he actually sent me a note once I got back. He says, "Next time you're coming down the chute, send me an email, as I usually don't read the forms. When you come down next time, probably in the spring or summer, we'll get Fire Ted, my brother, and myself to take you on a jeeping cache blitz. There are approximately 8 to 9 caches in the Chilliwack Agassiz area that require jeeps to get to. This sounds like fun. The picture of the Fraser River is from high above Harrison Mills on the north side of the river, looking west with the town of Chilliwack on your left, which is south of the river. This is a great bald eagle watching area and has over 1,000 eagles coming to feast on the salmon runs up the Harrison." That sounds excellent. It's in my schedule. Next I hear from Ascarda, and he writes, "Hi, just wanted to say thanks for making a nice geocaching show. After watching it, I finally decided to give it a try for myself and had a blast. Thanks again and keep up the good work." That's great. It is so cool to see someone watch my show and say, hey, what a fun thing. Go out and get into the sport themselves. Welcome to the sport of geocaching. Now, probably my favorite letter is this one. It's written by a gentleman named BlackCat96, and he writes, I found your show while surfing around one day and have really enjoyed it. I've been caching on and off now for a couple of years depending on where the U.S. Army decides to send me and for how long. My home is in Las Vegas, Nevada, but I am stationed in Fort Bragg, North Carolina. My unit is deployed in Iraq for another month or so, and I've pretty much found all the caches around here where I am now, and that took all of one afternoon. It'll be good to get back home and find everything that has been placed in the last year or so. If you're interested in any contributions, please let me know. Again, thanks for the entertaining geocaching videos. Talk to you later. Oh yeah, drink one of those good Canadian beers for me. Black Cat, consider it done. Soldier in Iraq. When I got this letter, it was just like, wow, this really is shown all over the world in the most incredible places. Black Cat, I salute you. Please be careful. And yes, if anybody out there has any great geocaching stories, email them to me. I'll read them on your next viewer email section. And if you got pictures, all the better. Send them to me because, hey, it's really easy to put pictures into this show. So anyway, so that's our first geocaching viewer mail section. And let's go find some caches now. Cranbrook Greenway Trail in Prince George runs from west of the city, starting at approximately the Blue Spruce campground site, all the way out to the Otway Ski Trail area. It's a total length of about 18-19 kilometers. Now there are various arteries getting onto the trail. One of the more popular is up at UNBC. Now, just off that trail at UNBC is a cache called Arbor Soccus Maximus by Superunknown and Potato Salad. It's actually in a fairly popular area of Prince George for caches because within about a 10-minute walk of this cache, you have UNBC, where you have a PG View number 5. The road to UNBC is there. It's a quick 20-minute jaunt up to Forest for the World, where you can find Hedwig's Other Home, Tour de World, and a few other caches that are all around this area. So from the parking lot, it's about a 500-meter hike in, so I got the kids with me. And we have to do some Latin translating here. So I'm looking at this Arbor Soccus Maximus. So I'm thinking tree, really big, and something to do with socks. I'm not quite sure about that one. But anyways, let's go check it out. Arbor Soccus Maximus by Superunknown and Potato Salad. Geocaching food. Tasty. Okay, 40 meters, somewhere around here is the cache. So, lots of bush and such around. So, let's go look for something to do with a tree, big, and a sock. Well, I found it. Interesting use of Latin. That's about all I'm going to say because I don't want to give it away. But if you've been reading the logs in this entry, you'll sort of get an idea of what's going on. But, cute. I like this. I like the area. I like what they did. So as far as I know, this is the first cache for the user Superunknown. And I've seen he's found a few of mine. And so Superunknown, got a word for you? Yo. Alright, so let's pop this puppy open and see what's inside. What do you figure, Rye? Want to see what's inside the cache? What do we got? Oh, check it out. We have thumbtacks, a bale of twine, and of course, the logbook with geocaching note. So let's sign this puppy up, let's just trade, and let's rebury. Alright, so the book's signed, cache is rehidden, we're off to the next one. Arbor Soccus Maximus by Superunknown and Potato Salad. It's a good one. I like it. Thanks, guys. Yo. So podcasting is taking the world by storm. You can go on the internet and find a podcast on almost any conceivable topic, including geocaching. Now, this brings up an interesting situation. What if you wanted to come up with a form of geocaching where instead of using your GPS to receive information, you used a portable music player? Wouldn't that be interesting? take a recorder with you, go someplace, walk around, describe what you're looking at, describe the area, and describe where the final cache location is hidden. So instead of posting the coordinates on the website to download into your GPS receiver, you upload an MP3 file that a person can download and listen to and enjoy the directions. Sort of like if you remember way back when you used to be able to get cassette tours. Well, this concept is in fact real. It's called podcaching, and it was invented by a couple in Southern California named Sunny and Sandy. As a matter of fact, they have a weekly podcast show called Podcaching, and it's really cool. www.podcacher.com. Make sure you check it out. And their whole philosophy is exactly what I mentioned earlier. You go out, you hide a cache like you normally do, but instead of giving coordinates for your GPS receiver, you describe where you're walking, describe what you're looking at, and you upload the into an MP3 file where we, the users, can download, put it onto a portable music players. You go and listen, and the player, the audio file, will actually guide us to where we're going. As a matter of fact, if I were to set one up here in Prince George, it would look very similar to this. So welcome to Icenrye's CNC Podcast, courtesy of Podcatcher.com. CNC, the College of New Caledonia, is located in Prince George, British Columbia, Canada, and offers 2-year courses in technical trades and also offers university transfer courses. To start this cache, park yourself near the front entrance and start walking. Once you get near the front door, you will find a sidewalk off to your left. Turn to the left and keep on walking. As you walk along, you'll pass a gazebo area where people can enjoy their lunches during the summertime and go on to pass the gymnasium building. Once past the gymnasium building, turn to your right. You'll pass the dental building. Most of the dental hygienists in the central interior area are trained here at CNC. And just ahead of the dental building is also the daycare center. From there, continue on, and you'll soon come up to the TAPS building. This is good. The cache is located nearby. Now take a look up to your left, and you'll see a parking meter area. That is where the final cache is located. As usual, I don't give away spoilers. However, if you look around, you should find it fairly easy. Now, just remember, this is a fairly busy parking lot. This is, after all, college. So, be stealthy, use your geo-muggle sense. Once you find your cache, sign your name in the logbook, place the cache back, and then log your find on the website. So I hope you enjoyed this Icenrye podcast at CNC. So podcaching is a great concept. I absolutely love it. It's a lot of fun. As a matter of fact, I've downloaded one of their podcasts, and with the aid of a virtual tour of the Santa Barbara Pier area, let's go take a listen and see one of their podcasts.
This podcast is in Santa Barbara, California, and it begins at the base of the Santa Barbara Pier, which is located on State Street and Cabrillo Boulevard. One thing I wanted to mention here is that there's a fountain with 3 dolphins, and I have seen this fountain elsewhere as well. I'm walking towards where on the right side there's sort of walking space, on the left side there's really room for traffic. At the speed we're walking, we're now passing the Harbor Restaurant's front doors. There are 2 wooden doors, glass inset in them. In a moment, we'll be passing this area called Longboard's Grill, which is connected, but it's sort of like a different kind of food that's available. So we're curving around Longboards right now and getting to the railing of the pier. Currently, there's some bikes hooked up there, but they may not be here when you're passing by. And off in the distance, we can see many yachts and pleasure cruise ships and things like that. It's amazing how much wealth and affluence is out here in Santa Barbara at times. Across the way, I can see a Old Wharf Trading Company, some blue signs that say the Great Pacific Ice Cream Company. Ooh, that looks good. We might have to ice cream. We might have to go check that out. And then we're going to stick to the right. We'll see that little cannon. Head sort of towards that. and where a little sign says motorcycle parking. So you're going to head past that, but yeah, stick to the right now. And off in the distance, you should be able to see another restaurant called Moby Dick. In about 5 steps, we're going to cross underneath this front awning of the restaurant, and it's called Moby Dick's Restaurant. In about 10 steps, we're going to be passing in front of this large painting of a whale, and it's in fond memory of Carl Henry, the whale man. We are almost at the end of this podcast. We're almost at the end where we're going to hide it. We're heading straight towards a sign with a crab on it that says Santa Barbara Shellfish Company. And as you head towards that sign...
So as usual, I'm not going to play the end of the file. You know me, I don't give away spoilers. But isn't that a great concept? Geocaching, that instead of a GPS receiver, you use a portable music player. Sunny and Sandy, Podcaching.com. Great website, check it out. So next on our list is a cache called Berry Lane by Gypsy Finder. It's located in an area of Prince George called College Heights. There's actually quite a few trails around this area, and I've done some exploring here, but this trail I'm on now I've never been on before. So there's another example of geocaching, getting people out to areas that chances are they've never seen before, or only few people have known about. Anyways, we're about 50 meters away from the cache. It's behind me down this trail a little ways, so let's go find it. Why is this called Berry Lane? I think this might give you an idea. Quick search, and here it is. So this particular cache is themed on safety items. Of course, we always start with the logbook. There's a better shot. So as you can see, we have various safety items in here. Some flagging tape, a whistle, an emergency blanket, a really cool reflective card, and a few other odds and ends. So anyways, we'll sign the log, place her back, and we're off to our next cache. Berry Lane by Gypsy Finder, here in College Heights in Prince George, British Columbia. So, did you ever wish there was a place you could go and learn about geocaching? Kind of like a geocaching school? Well, turns out one exists. It's called Geocacher University, and it's this month's Geosite of the Month. Let's go have a look. So welcome to this month's Geosite of the Month. Today we feature Geocacher University, a site run by a geocacher named C.Y. Brett. Let's take a look. Geocacher University, offering Geocaching 101, the basics of the hunt. This is an excellent site. It offers information for the absolute beginner all the way up to the almost professional. You start off with Geocaching 101. Where he goes in, explains what the sport's all about. Brief tutorial on your first hunt, how to go looking for your first cache, equipment, what you need. And your first hunt actually has sections all the way from signing up for your geocaching.com account all the way to logging your first find online. Where it goes through, has screenshots of the site, and showing how to make your log entries, and even shows you how to put in emoticons, the smiling faces. So we go back, an article on equipment, going into receivers, the classic Garmin versus Magellan debate, and he even gets into different types of antennas, electronic compass functions, and this old device here, this magnetic thing that I believe is called a traditional compass. Some of you might have seen these before. They're supposed to be very useful devices for navigation. It even has a great article on how to convert a backpack into your cache bag. Let's scroll back up and go on to our next section. Basic caches. This is really informative. I actually learned something myself in here. It's not so much designing of the cache container, but how to hide the cache. And the part that I really like, if I scroll down here, is this little chart in this area. It has different scenarios from varying sizes of caches to different locations. Where you may think, well, this is kind of common sense at first, but if you actually go through and read the explanation, it makes a lot of sense. It's talking about, if you're going to be out in the woods, it's rather silly to hide a film canister. Yet, if you're in an urban situation, an ammo box probably isn't going to go underneath a railing. He has other features in here also, organizing a cache and trash out, or cache and trash out. Yes, that's how it's pronounced. And even a little section on caches that he's hidden and found from his original website. He actually has his whole dedicated page to organizing and holding the Sitco event. Now, one of my favorite sections of this site is the resources page. Those of you may remember episode 2 where I featured paperless caching. Well, believe it or not, all the information in that article came from this site. Click on the how-tos, and here it is, paperless caching, which features this lovely looking Palm 125, which is pretty much the same unit that I use. And he goes through here, and he talks about all the different programs that I mentioned back then, and even some that I didn't get into. Here he talks about Spinner, whereas I was using GSAC, but it's all mentioned in here. Very good tutorial. Gets you into paperless caching if that's where you want to go. Now, probably the best part of this whole site is what he calls the back page. And this is sort of his personal story area. It's kind of like the latest news in CY's life. And at the time of this filming, there's a really great article in here on how he was asked to perform a wedding between two geocachers. And you have to go through, read the story. It's real funny. It's a really good story. Sort of lets you in just on the personality of the owner of this website. And of course he has links. Everybody's got to have links on their site. Going to geocaching.com and various cachers and their personal pages. And then when you're all done, log your visit. Just like visiting Geocache. You came here, you found the site, signed a guest book, let them know what you think about it. So, Geocacher University. Available at www.geocacher-u.com by C.Y. Brett. Incredibly informative, amazing site. One of my favorite geocaching sites. So if you're ever looking for information, or if you're an old salty dog like me but you still want to check some facts, check it out. geocacheru.com. This month's Site of the Month. So that about wraps it up for this episode of Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine. Thanks for watching. Well, it's December here in the central interior. Winter's rolling around the corner. As you can tell, we've already gotten our first snowfall. And geocaching activities pretty much peter off during the winter. But I've had a lot of requests to do stuff on winter caching, so we'll just see what happens. Most of the caches around here are found, but there are still a couple that remain a mystery to me. So I just might have to go out someday and find them for you. So just a couple of quick reminders before we take off. Please remember to go to Podcast Alley at the start of every month and vote for this video podcast. And let's try and keep the rankings up there, because the more people that see this, the more we can spread the great word about geocaching. Also, remember, drop by my website, www.icenrye.com, and put yourself on my Flickr map. So, if you have any comments or suggestions or would like to get a hold of me, you can email me at geoicenrye@icenrye.com or visit my website and click on the Contact Me button. So there we go, episode 7 of Icenrye's Geocaching Videozine in the bag. So in the quote a famous announcer, and in the meantime and in between time, that's it folks. Thanks for watching, cache on.